All right, let's dive into a breakdown of the Chiefs, really the first half pass game of the Chiefs, because by that point, game was over. All right, so let's take it play by play, because I made a comment on how I wasn't a huge fan. And I got to say that I'm not normally a huge fan of some of the spacing and details of the Chiefs offense. Just wouldn't work as well for me. Doesn't mean it's not good stuff. Obviously, it works well for Patrick and the Chiefs offense, and they've been so good. But there's a lot of elements that leave me kind of scratching my head, okay? So they started the AFC Championship game with the RPO game. They came out and ran 2 straight RPOs to start the game. Here we go again. We're going to start with the RPO. Great job, right? All young quarterbacks. What are we looking for, okay? So first thing we're looking for is a numbers game. We've got 3. They've got 2. Okay, so that's where it starts. Ultimately, it's going to play off of this linebacker, right? Because he has to be the 3rd guy in the mix. Okay, so if he wants to help cover the 3 guys out here, he's going to have to widen, and that's what gives us the run game. So we're going to add in a little bit of motion here with Worthy, and he's going to come, and what you're going to see is Worthy gets width, linebacker does nothing. So that's what Patrick's looking at. Okay, that linebacker holds in there. I'm either going to have this quick hit here, or I'm going to have a swing pass with a lead, all depending on what Cooper DeJean does right here. Great way to start the game. Boom. Nice job, nice read. Cooper DeJean goes running out to Worthy, replaced right behind it. First down on the first play of the game. Only had 2 first downs, I believe, in the whole first half. 1 came on the first play of the game. 2 straight RPOs to start the AFC Championship game. Let's go with 2 straight RPOs to start the Super Bowl. Again, we got everybody packed in the box. We're going to run a slant bubble right here. Another read off of Cooper DeJean on this particular play. Could have gone really either way. Probably, to me, you tried to throw the slant back behind it, even though it's good coverage on the slant because DeJean's moving, but he's soft. Get it on him, trying to make a play. Great tackle by DeJean out in space. But you knew coming in that was going to be a big part of what they did. They've been kind of a small ball team for a couple years. A lot of stuff was going to be RPOs, trying to get an advantage out in space and hoping you can win those one-on-one battles. They won 1, they lost 1. Okay, we're going to motion out. All right, so a couple things here, and I talk about it all the time. They're going to motion out, and they're going to ultimately run a choice route with Travis Kelce. Okay, they love to do that. On the other side, they're going to run what I call stump. It's a stick pump with a return. So this becomes kind of a pure progression. 1 to 2 to 3 to this side. Okay, but we're trying to get the choice out to the left-hand side. Okay, so Eagles are going to make it a little bit tougher. They're going to ultimately only rush 3 guys. They're going to drop a defensive end out into the middle of the field, making the choice route a little bit harder. Okay, so we're going to run this, and Travis ends up beating both guys back to the inside, and Patrick leaves the ball back to his inside hip. Probably a play that could have been caught. Better throw by Patrick Mahomes, and one thing that you saw in this game is that he was just off. He was off a touch. He was missing throws by just a touch, but against good teams, in big moments, you got to be on the money. Leaves it behind. Travis can't make the catch. Would have been a first down, and we go from there. Okay, so that's the first part of it. Had a chance to make a play, they didn't. Here's the second part, and you guys have heard me say, if you follow me on here all the time, I hate putting a running back outside of the choice route. I hate it because nobody respects it. You know that they're just going to run a go route, and they're going to try to take the top off of it, but you hardly ever throw it to that guy. It allows the corner to keep his eyes back inside, so if Travis was to break outside, he's going to peek inside. He's going to slow play the go because he doesn't expect you to throw it to Isaiah Pacheco, and he's going to drive and cover and help cover the choice on the outside breaker. So that's one part of it. The other part is that it doesn't give your quarterback an option. So now Patrick says, well, I got to force this ball into the choice route in between 2 defenders in a tough throw with tough timing. I got to force it in there because once I go to the left, I have no other options. I have continued to argue when you run a choice route from this slot position, put a receiver out here and run him on a comeback. Okay? Comeback can convert to different things if you want, but run him on a comeback over here. Why would you do that, Kurt? Well, here's why I would do that. Because if this guy wants to squat and sit inside, there is nobody out here in the one-on-one comeback situation. So right here, it's tight. But look at this. There is nobody outside the numbers. Give this guy a one-on-one out here. Easy pitch and catch. Quarterback starts to the left. Doesn't have to work back to the right and try to figure out what's going on and what all these bodies are doing. Starts to the left. Oh, they condensed the coverage to the left. Let me just work right outside of it. My eyes and feet are already there. Let me go get a completion and make the game easier. Okay, another third down situation. Okay, and I don't really know what we're trying to do. Obviously, we're trying to get the rub here. Okay, so trying to get the rub, we're going to run kind of an inner post here, and we're trying to get the rub to get this wheel down the sideline. Okay, I get it. Good play, all good stuff. But now, where do we go from there? Okay, what's going on from there? Okay, so we don't get the rub. They do a nice job of overplaying it. Now, what is this? What are we doing? Like, all of these guys are stacked on top of each other, and where's the quarterback supposed to go? Okay, get some pressure. Okay, I get it, but there's no real option here. And again, I don't know, and you're going to see this, and they've done this a lot, where Travis and Patrick kind of work some things on their own. It feels an opening here, and we'll show a little bit more of that as we move through this. An opening here, so I'm going to settle, or I'm going to adjust my route to what I feel in hopes that Patrick sees the same thing as me. But for me, what I'm going to do on this play is I want to do something where I'm going to try to create the rub, but then I want to bring somebody back underneath this. Okay, so quarterback's going to read the rub first because we got the look that we want. Now what happened? Now where do we go from here? Right? So I'd like to bring something back. Maybe it becomes a high-low right here off of that, okay? Look for the rub, don't have it, something right in front of me, just like the last play. Choice, don't have it, let me work to something on the same side of the field, okay? Other way we could do it is, hey, let's run through here and let's run everybody's favorite mesh play. So now we're going wheel, skinny, in, and then work down to my mesh play that's good against man 2, coming out, right out in front of the quarterback's eyes because he's already out here on the sideline. But here, they've got the wheel, and then, I don't know. I don't know what else we got here. I don't know what else we're trying to do on this particular play to be able to have something good happen for us. Okay, moving on. All right, so this is what I call a chase route. Okay, so we're going to motion Worthy here, and Worthy's going to just run a go route down the sideline. And then Travis Kelce, because they like to run these overs, they're going to fake like they're going to run an over, and then they're going to chase back their course, right? So leaning like it coming over, and then I'm going to chase it back to the outside, and then somehow they get somebody running the flat underneath it, so it becomes kind of the flood concept over to that side. Okay, something that they run a lot. I get it. But here will be my contention every time I run this, but specifically against a team like the Eagles that run this shell coverage. They are a cover 4 or quarters football team. That's what they want to do. That is their base defense. It all comes off of quarters coverage. Okay? So, with that being said, if I'm going to run this chase route, who's the one guy that can ultimately take it away? That safety right there. Not only am I crossing his face and leaving him leverage on the outside, but he's also in a position to be able to grab me. Okay? If you think about the touchdown that the Eagles ran, that the Eagles got when they ran this same sort of play and they threw it to Devontae Smith for the big touchdown late in the game. Okay? They ran, this is what I would call a pogo concept. So instead of a post, it's a go with the chase route underneath it. Okay? They ran what I call a poco Okay, so it's a post and a corner. So they would have had Worthy come here and then take the post instead of the go route. Why is that important, Kurt? Well, it's important because if I'm playing a quarters team, I'm saying to myself, this guy that's circled, this safety that's circled, is the guy I want to put in a bind. If he turns and gets deep and takes his responsibility, which is that deep fourth area of the field, then I get my high-low off of the outside linebacker on the chase route to the flat. If he wants to grab and hold on the chase route, I want to get over the top of him and throw the post. Because if I run a go, I'm running right into their responsibilities, right? This guy has a deep fourth on the outside area of the field. The safety has a deep fourth on the inside area of the field. Okay, but if I'm not going to threaten his deep area, I'm just going to run to the outside guy's deep area, and then I'm going to allow the inside guy to cover the corner, and then I'm going to allow the outside backer to cover the flat. I'm not giving myself a chance to succeed. I want to put this post here to say, hey, safety, you can't cover them both. You're going to cover the post, you're going to cover the chase. So we're going to come out and run this. What's he do? He covers the chase. Covers the chase. Look at him drive on this chase. Now, again, this is another one where Travis kind of settles and tries to find a hole because he knows the safety's out there. But what if Worthy runs a post right here? What if he runs a post right there? We got 101 and we got our shot up over the top. And again, this is where I come back a little bit confused because what did I expect the Eagles to do coming into this game? I expected them to play cover 4. I expected that to be their base coverage. So every play I'm running is going to be designed to beat cover 4 and cover 1. They're two primary coverages. I'm going to make sure I got the best option and version of each play to do that. Instead, we run a go on the outside. It's just washed off because everybody's doing exactly what they're supposed to do. We don't put a player in conflict. We allow him to cover it. And Patrick's got nowhere to go down the field. Does a nice job. He's got good protection of finding the check down right here. But not a lot happening. The details, the game plan, the understanding of what we're going to see. And that's what just confused me about a lot of this game plan right here. Okay, so here we go, and we're going to run kind of what they call a fake mesh. Okay, so we're going to go here, and he's going to run the bullets course. We're going to try to hit that right now. And then normally on mesh, we're going to have these two guys running shallows, and then this guy runs over the ball. Okay, so that's the normal mesh. Okay, with fake mesh, what happens is we're going to have these guys fake like they're going to go mesh, and then they're going to return out to their respective areas. So you still have two guys going where the shallows would go. You're just having it from the same side. And then this guy's going to run over the ball once again. We're trying to get rubs by the top two guys on this bullets here in hopes that we can get a quick throw to Xavier Worthy. Great job here by the Eagles that once Worthy goes in motion, they just pass this off from a man perspective. And linebacker type player, I think that's DeJean right there, passes him off. We pass off this linebacker to the next guy, and we play from there. So watch how they do a nice job of passing it off, knowing what's going to happen. And now we need to beat our guy with this. And again, it's one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of all the mesh stuff, although it's better against man. But we don't win right there with Travis Kelce. It's nice coverage right there. And there's really nothing for Patrick Mahomes to go to. And now, play that he's made a million times, kind of stumbling, but just get that completion and you probably move the chains. Just a little bit off with the throw at the punt. Okay? So, little details right here. So they're going to run kind of a quick out. Hook. This guy's going to go over the ball, and then they're going to run. This is what I call kind of a switch stick. Okay, so we're going to try to inside release with Travis Kelce in case we get man, and we're going to try to rub for the tight end that's going to the flat in this particular case. They play a zone coverage, so not quite as good. I'm a guy that continues to believe that if you're getting man, I understand running that particular concept. But if I get zone, this is the guy that I worry about in zone coverage to the short side of the field. Okay, I worry about him because once Travis Kelce goes inside on this stick route, it frees up the corner to say, I'm not threatened deep anymore. So he holds leverage. This guy runs to the flat, and normally a corner doesn't cover the flat. But he can here because he's not threatened in his area of the field. He's not threatened deep. And so once Travis goes inside, he frees up. And so you see what happens here to this side. Okay, once he goes inside, now the corner has the ability to drive, and this becomes, a 2-yard gain, maybe, where ultimately you really want this as a read, right? Stick, flat, off of that circle defender, and it makes a lot of sense. But when you have a corner free to the short side, and he's got the ability to come off and drive on this, I don't like the stick as much. What would you do, Kurt? I would run a play that I call fish. Okay, so fish for me is a hook and a flat. Okay, this is where the fish comes from, obviously using your hook, right? A hook and a flat. And what I would do with this hook is I would make sure that I have a certain kind of alignment here. So I could be a little bit wider. If I'm wider, I might take this a little vertical and inside. If I'm a little bit tighter, I'm going to push this a little bit outside. So I'm going to have a position on the field where I create the kind of spacing that I want. But I want to be able to push vertical here. So if I'm going to be in a tight alignment, I'm going to push a little bit vertical for what purpose? For the purpose of holding that defender off. So as I start to attack him and attack his responsibility, he's going to soften and be wide. So then if I do that and this guy gets hung up on me like he does Travis here, now the corner is in a backpedal position, not a drive position, and it gives me a better advantage to throw it. If this guy wants to take off and run, now I keep away from any other linebacker that's in there because I'm widening a little bit, and now we replace right behind him with the hook instead of the stick. The other thing, could easily take this quick out up to the top. But again, I don't mind the read down here, off of this guy. It's just what we're trying to do here. We make it hard on ourselves because we leave this cornerback free to be able to drive because we never threaten him. And boom, he comes up and makes a big hit. Guys, what you continue to see, right? And I always talk about here on QB Confidential is details. Details, details, details. Understanding all of the elements. Not just looking at stick and saying, hey, it's all about the outside linebacker. It's not. When you're in the short side and you're in a situation like that, the corner becomes involved as well. So let's think about how we have to attack the corner and the outside backer to get exactly what we want, but to make it a true 2-on-1 read instead of allowing the corner to be involved and now it become a 2-on-2. All right, so here's another play that we're going to kind of run some kind of a flood concept here. Flat, corner, and then I guess this is a kind of a stick route over in this area. So again, not a huge fan of this particular play because I'm asking myself, what am I going to get on this particular play? I guess if you feel you're going to get man on this play, it's okay because maybe we get some kind of a rub and we pop this flat out here. But any kind of zone, this corner is more than likely going to be dead because you're going to leave outside leverage in this bunch position every single time. You're going to be outside leverage, so that guy's going to be dead. We're going to run a flat. I expect a linebacker. There's got to be a linebacker to cover the flat. That's probably going to be dead. So now I'm left with Travis Kelce having to win in this hole. So again, I'm asking my question, why? What are we trying to get on this play? What did we expect to have happen, right? We could run this just like before, and we could easily run the Poco out of this particular look again. So it's kind of the same thing, except instead of this guy running out into a corner, we're getting him up over the top with a chance to hit the big play, because what are they playing? They're playing the shell coverage. It's a base coverage that they're going to play. They will change it up with man. So maybe this was supposed to be a man beater, but I wouldn't expect man in this kind of a situation inside your 5 by the Eagles. I would expect quarters. So I just asked myself, why? Why are we doing this in this particular case? Okay, and you see it. There's bodies just everywhere. There's nowhere to go with the football here. This really, when I see this, as soon as I see it come out like this and I see this corner off, the only thing I can really think, if I'm Patrick, is possibly come back to this in over here, because nothing's really going to be over there. There's just too many bodies over there. But I don't understand what we're trying to get. I don't know what our hope was on this play, and what we expected to come out on this play if this is run right. Maybe it's not run right. Maybe this guy's supposed to run a high corner, and then this guy becomes the flood guy. Then I like the play a little bit better because we're clearing out the deep area, or we're isolating the deep area of the field, and we possibly got a chance. But when he goes flat and under this corner with outside leverage, that's dead. Safety staying tucked inside because we're not threatening him deep. We got a guy covering to the flat. Just really nothing going front side. Good job by Patrick to just find his back over there and replace and get a completion. But just, I don't understand what we're trying to do with the concept. Okay, so we come back on a 3rd down. Okay, we're going to motion P. Ryan down. Patrick's checking or changing the protection or whatever, but we're going to run a play over here that I call popping. So it's an in, it's a pop, and it's a flat. Really good play against quarters. Love the play against quarters. Okay, can read it one of 2 ways. The way I like to read it is this inside linebacker first. Okay, so I want to read this in first. I want to hit that in. If that inside linebacker holds the in off, okay, so he stays tucked inside, then my eyes go to this outside linebacker because I have a hook, flat, read off of him. Other teams will do it the opposite, where they will read hook, flat, off of outside linebacker first, and then if he pushes hard to the flat, I'm looking to hit the pop, and then if this guy pushes to the pop, then I replace with the in. Okay, I can live with it either way. I just never want to be late to the in route, so I like to read it inside out instead of outside in. But what the Chiefs do here is they read it outside in. And it's a good play, right? Because we've got quarters. Just notice how with Patrick pushing straight vertical, just notice what it does to this corner here. Okay? See how the corner backs up just a little bit? All right, so again, that's back to that fish concept. Pushing vertical there by that guy just forces the corner to hold his position because he doesn't know if that guy is going to go vertical and attack him. All right? But off of that, we read the outside linebacker first. Outside linebacker gets outside Travis Kelce. Perfect. Now we're going to take the pop route. Okay? But once again, adjusting the route here is Travis Kelce. So watch. He comes up and he feels this guy go outside of him right now. So he wants to stop and turn around right now and say, get me the football before anybody else can get here because I felt that guy goes outside. But the problem with this is always, when are you going to do it? How quickly are you going to do it? When do I have to make my decision as a quarterback? And so here, Patrick is ready to throw it. And he's going to throw it at that 5-yard mark where this is designed and drawn on paper, go 5 yards and hook it. He's throwing it there because he got the read that he wants, and he's letting the ball go so he can hit that window and get the first down. Boom. Travis turns a little soon, falls outside, ball ends up inside and low, and we get an incompletion on a 3rd down that should be an automatic first down for us. Details. And I get it. There's nobody been better in the league and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes at adjusting concepts, adjusting routes, finding holes, and having success with it. So it's hard for me to say, don't do it, but this is what happens when you do it. You're going to have times in critical situations where it works for you, and it seals the deal, and we're happy. But you also have to settle for these situations, and I don't want to settle for these situations, especially in a Super Bowl, but what do you say? How do you coach this when it's like, I see what Travis saw. I understand what he's doing. He's done this a million times and we've had success, and it doesn't work here, but it leads to a lot of frustrations because I'm a guy that I'm more like, just do the details. Do the details, do it how you're supposed to do it. If they cover it, they cover it, but at least I can anticipate and know where you're going to be, and we're not going to miss opportunities like this. The other thing about that is if you read it inside out, now by the time I get to Travis Kelce, I'll know what Travis Kelce is doing. And I won't have to rush it because I'm not worried about the inside linebacker anymore because I've looked at him. I watched him. He stayed inside. He held off the end. So I know when I get outside, I don't have to rush this throw and worry that I have to beat him with the throw because I've already determined where he's going to be. So then I come off and I can hold this off a little bit more. Or if I see him and he pushes it, now it's an easy completion right back inside of him. But whatever. Again, this is just, it's a detail thing, but I just don't want to say like, well, Travis is wrong here, because Travis does this all the time. And they do this and have success all the time. It's just, to me, the lack of details of knowing exactly what that looks like when you are going to adjust is what cost them the opportunity to have success right here. And then let's just go to the backside. Okay? Look at the backside two receivers. Like, what is this? What are we doing back here? If we want to go to this side, what is this route? I don't know. And so, these are the kind of things that I sit back and go, I'm not really sure, because I got 2-on-1 over here with one underneath guy if I decide to go over there, but I don't know what the route is over here and who's messing up, or if somebody's messing. I don't really know. Okay, here's another one. Like, when you watch this play, okay, so this is a play that everybody runs. The Chiefs run this a lot. Fake here, bring Worthy back on the naked right here. Okay, watch the rest of the concept. Gosh, I don't even know. I really don't know what we're trying to get here. I'm going to guess what we're trying to do is fake the naked here. We're going to roll this way, and then we're going to try to throw back here on the high-low. All right? But, again, you're going to leave Travis Kelce hand in the ground, one-on-one with the defensive end, saying you've got to seal this guy for us to have a chance. I mean, that's just nearly, I don't know. I just think that's an impossible block for Travis Kelce. And especially when, it's one thing to just say, hey, block him because we're going to run a drop back pass. But to fake this and then roll in his direction, expecting him to be able to not only block him, but get the outside edge of this guy, because nobody else is coming over to help him, to get the outside edge of him so Patrick can roll that direction. Again, details, I don't know. He's a tick late coming off the ball. Maybe, I don't know. I just think that's impossible to ask Travis Kelce to do it. So I don't know the details and what we're trying to do. And obviously it leads to a quick sack. Like on that last one, I would motion somebody, even motion Travis over there to the edge in a wing position so he can get outside leverage and jump into whatever position he needs based on where that defensive end is. Once you put his hand on the ground, he's got no place, no recourse to be able to get outside leverage if we're going to roll that direction. So again, these are the details that just kind of dumbfounded me in this game. All right. Here we're going to run hitch, some kind of a slant or something inside. So obviously what we're trying to do is go to the off corner. So again, it looks like a shell coverage right here. Eagles do a nice job here on the snap of rolling Mitchell down, rolling the safety over the top, and playing what I call cover 6. So it's quarters, half. So instead of quarters on the backside, they're rolling to 2. Okay, so you got your 2 and your 4, cover 6. And so Patrick comes out thinking he's got soft coverage to the backside, looks there, doesn't have it, comes back to the front side. Now have the wherewithal on the front side to come find your corners off and hit the hitch. Now it's hard because we hardly ever go from one side to the other on a quick throw. But on the first step, you see the rotation. Now settle back in and try to read that outside linebacker. But again, just don't understand the concept here. Like, we're running this guy back inside. There's another backer sitting in there. We're running a hitch outside. This guy has the ability to push out and cover him. So what are we trying to accomplish here? Okay, Kurt, what would you do different? Well, if I'm running hitches outside, I'm going to run another hitch right here. Why are you going to do that? So if I get off coverage, I say to myself, the only guy that can take away the outside coverage or the outside route is the outside linebacker. So if he pushes out, I want to replace him with the hook route there. I don't want to come inside and make it easier on the next linebacker to cover me. So I'm running inside to be covered, and I free up the outside guy because when I go inside, he can free up to go outside. When I go vertical and attack him, it helps to hold him a little bit more to open up my buddy outside. He still wants to go outside, no problem. Now it keeps me away from the inside guy. Details, right? If that outside linebacker there gets wide and takes it away, we have nothing on this particular play across the board. But Patrick, again, gets a little bit fooled. It's good coverage. It looks like cover 4 till the snap. Oh, now I see it. Now get back. Can I get back and throw a quick route on time? He doesn't. Now he's starting to have to run around again. Nothing really there. Sack. All right, so here's another look, an idea. See, they're in a bunch here. Now they're going to run the roll here. Notice where they put the tight end now. Doesn't have his hand in the ground. He's up and outside, so it gives him a better chance to seal this defensive end. So watch. There, oh, perfect. Boom. I got outside leverage. I can seal that. I can let Patrick Mahomes roll to the outside. Okay? So, what are we going to run here? We're going to roll to the outside. We're going to run a deep pylon corner. Then we're going to run a comeback. Then we're going to bring our back, and he's going to run a flat over to that side. Okay, so the idea is seal the edge, roll outside, and we're going to start with this corner. If this corner stays down, we'll try to get that deep shot up over the top. Don't really expect that to happen. Expect this guy to be deep. So what I'm really looking to get is the comeback or the flat off of this outside linebacker. That's what I'm looking at to throw. Okay? High to low, over to that side. Now, what the Eagles do really, really well here is as this back pushes over here, they push their next linebacker. Okay? So just watch how this plays out. Good job sealing the edge. We get outside. DeJean does a nice job of getting some width here to try to take away the comeback. It's another problem I have is that when I'm rolling to this, I would love this receiver to be out here on the sideline, to be as wide as possible. So this defender has to get wide to cover him, right? And that's the other thing. Okay, so again, details to me. He's pushing up, and instead of running a comeback, he's running an out. You know how hard it is to throw an out route with that little space on the sideline? Okay, you have to be on time. You cannot be late if you're going to throw this because your receiver's going to run right out of bounds. And if you're late, the corner's going to be able to turn on it and be able to break and make a play. So now we put Patrick Mahomes on the run, throwing a speed out cut at 15 yards, nearly impossible throw. So again, I asked myself, why the out? Push him up, push him wide, and a comeback. Let him come back down the stem. Let him come back down to my quarterback, running away from the corner towards the sideline as wide as possible because my quarterback is rolling. I can be a little bit later because he's coming down and now I can throw him down the stem. Running a deep out route, just watch this. You got to throw it right now. Like, look at how little space you have when he's going flat with the corner sitting there to ever even make that throw. Nearly an impossible throw in my opinion. So I just don't like, again, the play design. But here's what the Eagles do. DeJean does a nice job of pushing out to the numbers and getting depth to take that away. So normally it would say you got the flat. Okay, but then Bond matches with the flat in the back on this particular play, and he runs outside the numbers. So what does that do? It leaves this area for the crosser wide open. But the whole key on this play is understanding where you can throw this. D-Hop, slow down. Settle through this window here. Don't run all the way over. I'm not saying he's taught to do that. I'm just saying we got to understand. I've already got all of this stuff going to the front side, right? I don't need you fast over there because there's already too many bodies over there. So I can't be trying to throw it to you out by the numbers. I need to be throwing it to you from the hash to the numbers as you settle in that hole if everybody rolls that direction with Patrick. And Patrick, same thing. As you roll out here, see the depth here, okay? Don't really like the deep one, okay? Now you got to look flat. He takes it away. You got to get back inside a touch quicker right here. But what you can't do is let this prolong so far and throw this ball outside the numbers. You allowed DeJean on this particular play to take away the out, deep comeback, and take away the crosser right here. I mean, watch where this thing is caught. He catches that, okay, maybe it's a touch inside the numbers. But we allow it to be easy on the defense because of timing and spacing. Push up, hold, get to this window, settle through there. Now DeJean has to cover all the way out here to the out and all the way back in here to the cross instead of simply covering a couple yards outside the numbers and then peels back and give him credit. Great job. Reading the eyes of Patrick Mahomes, front side, sees him come backside, breaks on it. But the details and timing of this play make it easy on him to not have to do all that much to cover two receivers. All right. Always interesting, how teams play. So they go to a 4 strong, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4 strong. Okay, so when I get a 4 strong, what we always have to expect is this linebacker back here. Really, to me, this is what my read should always be off of. If this guy wants to push front side, then he leaves the opening backside for my one-on-one. If he wants to stay backside, then we hope we can overload them with 4 guys strong. So what they run on this play is what we call a pivot here. So kind of an in and back out, another deep corner pylon, and then I'm not sure if this is red or if it's just run. It's kind of a 7 stop right here. Okay, so he ends up running a stop route in that window. So again, trying to get the flood over to that side. Okay, and then the back. Right, I don't know what advantage it gives you to put the back strong and then release him back under here, back to the backside. Not really sure. But, okay, what happens is he pushes out there. He pushes underneath the stop. Safety covers the deep one. Don't really have anything because we've pushed this thing. They've pushed this thing strong, okay? So the first thing that I always would say, and this is a detail thing, is I always hate when a guy goes in to go back out. Why? Somebody just tell me. Why? And again, this is based on zone. If you're trying to beat man, okay, maybe you want to sell him inside on the shallow and break back outside. But against a zone, why would I ever want to go inside to break outside? And the theory I know for most people is, well, if you go inside, you can grab the attention of this guy, and then maybe we can open up the stop back behind it. So I want you to grab his attention. So go get in his face and grab his attention. Okay. So watch it again. He goes in there, grabs his attention, and then breaks out. But the way I look at it is if his responsibility is to the flat and you go to the flat right now, you just go to the flat. No, you're not grabbing his attention, but what you're doing is saying, you better cover me right now. I better have your attention right now because if I don't, then I'm wide open to the outside because that's your responsibility. Okay? So just watch this defender right here on the release. On the release, what does he do? He turns inside. So if this guy runs outside right now, what just happened? What just happened? He's wide open because that guy got caught up with the inside part of it, but because we go inside and by time, we allow him to make a mistake, chase and jam inside, and still cover us to the outside. Still cover us, okay? And then, because we go 4 strong, right? Because we go to a 4 strong look, right? So just watch Vaughn. Okay, he's right there on the hash. Oh, we go to a 4 strong look. Now, look what he's saying. He's saying, hey, you, come over here. Come over here. And I'm going to widen on this play. I'm going to widen. Now I get 2 yards outside the hash, which condenses this whole look. So why is that guy strong? What does he give you on this particular concept? Being strong. What does he do? All he did was force the defense to move in the direction of my concept. Again, I don't understand these details. And then on top of that, instead of adding him to the mix over here, where I'm saying, okay, as long as, if we're going to go 4 strong, I'm going to keep him strong to try to put pressure on somebody. No, instead of doing that, now I sneak right back to where this guy is anyways. And so I got no advantage. If I just leave this guy on the backside and let him do the exact same thing, then there's a possibility that this guy tucks back inside the hash, which allows me a better window to read this guy to get that 7 stop to flat, instead of allowing Vaughn to be able to push out underneath it and not have to do anything to cover it. I don't know, it's a lot of talk right there, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying. If you put a guy in a 4 strong situation, you better use that 4th guy strong to give you an advantage to the front side. Otherwise, you're hurting yourself by saying, we're going to put him 4 strong, but then send him back to the weak side. So all we've done is push the defense right in the direction of our bunch formation, making the spacing harder for us to create any kind of window, because Vaughn is where? He's 1 to 2 yards outside the hash because we put him there with our formation. So now, as we go to run this 7 stop, he can take it away from his initial position that we let him get into because we did what? We put him in a 4 strong and we forced him out in that direction. Don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay? So here's the other interception. All right? Quick out, cross. All right? So come out. And again, I'm not putting this on Patrick Mahomes in terms of the throw was bad, but Josh Sweat runs the offensive tackle into Patrick Mahomes. We all saw it if we watched the game. Ran him over and forced a bad throw here. But what I am putting on Patrick Mahomes is, why are we not throwing it over here? Right? Play the play. Now, it's easy for a quarterback to come out and say, all right, I'm really just looking at this guy. If this guy settles or breaks it all, I'm going to get the big play back behind him. I'm a guy that says, come out and read the play. Read it 1. If you have it, corner's off and he's looking back inside, take it. If you don't like him and he gets wide and outside, now we're going to take this unless this guy takes it away. So just look at those 2 pieces right there. You throw this on time, completion. You throw this right now, completion. You got a completion both ways. Now, again, I can't fault Patrick because he does get a break with this guy, and this window is open. So it's going to work out. Understand the concept. Like it. It's going to be a play any which way until the tackle gets pushed inside and now an errant throw and it becomes an interception and really hurts Kansas City with what happened with the pick 6, and then this at the end of that second quarter really just blew this thing wide open. But starts with play the game. Just take what's in front of you. Get a completion. You're in the shadow of your own end zone. Take one of these easy completions. Don't try to do too much. Try to do too much. Pressure once again up front leads to, a tragic play that kind of just finishes this game. Okay, so kind of the last drive of the first half, and that's what we're looking at. Just all the first half passes, because this thing was over by halftime, and just all the different things that just surprised me with how this thing played out. Okay, so here's another play where we're going to run a go route here. Don't really know if this is kind of an in route, and then a flat here. So I'm just confused. Okay, so watch. All right, so Travis ultimately becomes kind of double teamed here, but let's just go back and what do we see again? We see the shell. Okay, so now they're going to roll to another cover 6 over here, which is typical and part of what Vic Fangio does, right? It all comes off of cover 4. They will roll to a side one way or another, but you're going to get a quarters look quite often, and quite often to the field, because they're more apt to run cover 6, which is roll to the boundary, and quarters to the field, more so than going to cover 5, which is roll to the field and play quarters backside. But you could still get either one of them. But if I'm doing that, okay, and if I'm expecting some sort of quarters and I'm running Travis Kelce on an in route, okay? So if I get quarters, I always ask myself, I expect to get quarters. If I get quarters, what am I doing on this play if I'm Patrick Mahomes? So if I get quarters, what I have to do is I just have to throw this go on the outside. Like, I'm running right into everybody, right? The safety is supposed to take away number 2 on any inside move, and we're running a go on the outside. So if I come out, if I'm Patrick Mahomes, I got to come out and see this guy right now. And once I see him hold right there, I've got to get outside right now. I've got nothing else on this play except my outside go or just get it to my flat right here. Okay, so what are we trying to do? What are we trying to get on this play? I don't know what the concept is here. We're running a solo guy to the inside. We're running a flat, and then this guy on a go. Now, maybe this was just an all-go play. Okay, so sometimes on an all-go play, this guy takes the middle if it's open, but if he feels it closes up, so this guy's sitting right there in the middle, if he feels it closes up, he gets a chance to run a basic right there. Could happen. And then we run goes on the outside, which is kind of what we have here. If I'm a quarterback, what I'm looking for on this particular play is this safety right here. If this safety gets high and outside, then I can read my 2-on-1 off of that safety all day long and try to get my shot. But once this safety holds inside, doing anything, he goes to the middle of the field, he holds down inside, I have to get outside to a 1-on-1 throw right now. So if I'm Patrick, and it looks exactly like he's looking at that safety, once that safety holds, it's got to be a throw to the outside. There's your throw to Worthy right there. Just got to let it go and take a shot at it. You have nothing else on this play. The other thing I would say is if Travis really is running an in route here on this particular play, just like when we talked about the Poco, okay, then I would put this guy on a post over the top of it because I'm expecting to get quarters. So if I get quarters, I'm going to come out and look at this safety just like I would if he's running a corner. And if he settles or hesitates in there, I go over the top and get a post. Okay, so if this is a designed in route and I was playing a team that played quarters, I would put another post over the top of it to take advantage of that inside safety because I know he's going to be conscious of Travis Kelce and the number 2 receiver, and I'm going to look at it from that perspective. So either way, whether it's all go or whether that's a designed in, if you're Patrick Mahomes, you got to get right outside to the go route on that. Or if I'm the play designers with the Chiefs, I'm saying if we're trying to get Travis on an in route here, I don't want to put a go on the outside because it's hard to go from an in to a go. I'm going to put a post on the outside because I know what I'm getting. Read the safety. If he squats, great. If he gets depth, now I'm going to try to negotiate these underneath backers with these 3 guys, the flats and the in route, and I'm going to try to hit Travis on the in route if it's a designed in. I don't know which one it is, but across the board, either bad decision to me by Patrick, got to go right outside right now, or bad play design if it is some kind of a hook or in or whatever in the middle of the field. Just, again, these things confuse me. Knowing what kind of defense you're going to get from Nick Fangio every time out is primarily going to be quarters. I'm going to design my plays to attack quarters. I'm going to know exactly what I'm doing as a quarterback when I get quarters because I expect quarters. And that was the thing that confused me so much about this. If you're going to play shell coverage on the back end, right? They've only got 3 underneath defenders to cover the entire field. So a big part of my game plan against quarters is I'm going to send a bunch of guys underneath. I'm going to put 5 guys underneath a lot. Quick game is going to be a big part of what I do because I'm going to attack those 3 defenders underneath over and over and over again. I'm not going to get impatient. I'm going to get completions and I'm going to move the chains by doing that. If I want to attack deep, I am going to do something where I get a guy to the post and I am going to try to grab this safety over and over and over again. Could be double post. Could be the in with the post. Could be the corner with the post. I am going to do something to grab the inside guy and try to get the post over the top over and over and over again if I'm playing against this team, right? It could be one of these where I'm going to run double post with an over and a flat, and I'm going to clear out both of those deep guys, and then I'm going to isolate the underneath guys. Like, I know the plays I'm going to run over and over and over again against a quarters coverage, and those are going to be the base elements in it, okay? And so here's an example. Like, this is something I would have done 12 times in the game. They're going to motion this guy out, and they're going to run a stick concept. It's a stick go flat to one side, and then they're going to run double slants to the other side. I would have lived in this formation against quarters because just watch how it plays out. Like, watch how it plays out. Wow, I get this guy to go here. Man, I got a wide open stick. Oh, I'm going to run double slants back here. I got 2-on-1 on the backside. It's like stealing. Boom, take it. It's easy. The game isn't that hard. They're not running this complicated coverage. Knowing the plays that you run against quarters over and over again is what confused me so much about the game plan and what exactly the Chiefs were trying to do in this first half against exactly what I expected. Exactly what I expected the Eagles to play defensively. Okay, so here's kind of an example of that idea. So again, they're in a 4 strong, which again, what they're going to run here is they're going to run a post, okay, and then an over and a flat, okay. So I like the concept because ultimately what you're trying to get is post, clear out those guys, over, flat. That's primarily what you're going to get on this play, and I like it. It's a great play. Clear out that safety. Again, it's another way to take advantage of him, right? So if he settles down in for the over route, throw the post over the top of it. If he gets depth and covers his responsibility, great. Now we come down to the outside linebacker and have the over flat. So a really, really good play right here. But I ask, why do we put it in 4 strong? Why do we need 4 strong on this particular play? Again, one thing that the Chiefs do, I don't like it as much in the short side, but they're going to run this sort of aspect to it, okay? So, which again isn't a bad play. So it basically says clear out the safety, like we said, okay? And then use up both of these linebackers, okay? So if the inside linebacker wants to get depth to the over, then replace with the hook. If the outside linebacker wants to get depth to the over, then replace with the flat. So I understand that aspect of it, but into the short side like this, it really condenses everything. You see all the bodies that are over here, and you see how it condenses and brings more guys to the party, which makes it a harder read over to this side on this over flat because we went 4 strong, which again is always the question, why? How does 4 strong help us on this particular play if we expect them to push over, okay? But with all that being said, what happens is the Eagles kind of screw this up. The backside corner chases man for some reason, and they leave DeAndre Hopkins wide open coming back to the other side. Now, we all saw this. And again, this is just one of those things. It's kind of a microcosm of what was going on with the Chiefs. It was kind of a mess all day offensively. Scheme. Patrick wasn't good. The adjustments weren't good. Here's a throw, wide open. This guy's clearing out of here. Man, this is a 60-yard play. It's a gimme. And I don't know if it was the throw. I don't know if it was D-Hop misjudging it. But this is just a weird play right here that is an automatic huge play for these two guys throughout their career. And in the Super Bowl, when you need a big play to be made, this is what happens. And we just kind of stumble around, and maybe we miss the throw a little bit, and we stumble around and try to one-hand this thing, fall to the ground, don't catch it. And, you know, again, right there, that's just the epitome of what happened for the Chiefs and how I came out of this first half, my head down as well. Like, what were we trying to do? What was going on? Why was everything so tough for us against a defense that I knew exactly what to expect? I knew exactly what they were going to do. And it's not that hard to attack the quarters. Now, you give the Eagles credit because they have good players playing that basic coverage. So, yeah, they're going to make it harder than another team would playing quarters. But knowing how to attack it, to me, is fairly simple. And so I was just confused at the game plan and what they were trying to do and how they hurt themselves with a number of the plays and play designs that they had in the first half. And this thing got away from them really, really quickly.